Hello, everybody. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me, please. Please put in the chat if you can hear me. Welcome to my live. I am Queen Lillie. We got a lot to cover. It's a lot of drastic things are happening in the MAGA Republican Party. The judge in South Carolina that told Donald Trump, no, sit down, little boy, sit down. You cannot have your way. You are not going to destroy this country. Those are my words, but I'm pretty much summarizing it. That judge, her home has been poof, exploded because she told Donald Trump no. She rejected what he wanted done. And what has happened to her? Her home is destroyed. Yes, her home in South Carolina is destroyed. Hit that like button for me and let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Put it in the chat if you can hear me, please. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, please. Put it in the chat. Can you hear me? Let me know, please. Before I talk. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me now. Is something going on with the microphone? Again, I am Queen Lillie. Welcome to my live. Welcome to my live. How are you all doing? Let me know in the chat you can hear me, please. Type something in the chat if you can hear me. We're going to be covering Donald Trump. I'm starting over because apparently you couldn't hear me. We're going to be covering... So you could hear me? You can hear me? Okay. So I didn't know if you could or not because I've been running my gums and I bought a new mic. And I kept asking people if they could hear me and nobody was telling me if they could hear me. But anyway, welcome to my live. I'm Queen Lillie and we got a lot to talk about. I miss y'all and you know I do because you know why? We go together real bad. We love on each other over here in my chat. We love on each other every time you come to my live. We respect each other, don't we? We go together real bad. I love y'all and I miss y'all. I've been gone for what, 2 or 3 days? I miss y'all, yeah. But I'm back. It's a lot that has to be covered. A lot of things are happening under Donald Trump's regime. For instance, the South Carolina judge that rejected Donald Trump's order, her home has been exploded. And that person is in the hospital. All of this is happening under the MAGA Donald Trump regime. From people's lives have been unalived under Donald Trump. If you don't give Donald Trump his way, he throw that pacifier to the side. He just have a bad temper tantrum. And because of his temper tantrum, that lady's home exploded with her in it and she is hurt. Who did this? This is just not a coincidence, y'all. Wake up, America. This is not a coincidence. Hit that like button. Hello, Queen Victorious One. Hit that like button, please. Hello, Mimi. How you doing? You guys, something bad is happening in our country. Every time Donald Trump don't get his way or you continue to talk about the Epstein files, boom, or either unalived. We have mobsters in the White House. This is not a coincidence that this judge home exploded. I can't say the actual word. So I'm using the word exploded, y'all, because you have to say certain things. You can't say certain things. This is not a coincidence. This is not a mistake. This never happened under President Barack Obama, the Harvard graduate with the mighty, beautiful family. This did not happen under great President Joe Biden. It didn't happen. Why is it that all these horrible things are happening under Donald Trump's regime? The fake pow-pow into the ear. All these people becoming unalive from Charlie Kirk, etc., etc. The senator and her husband unalived because they were Democrats. But this particular judge in South Carolina was a Trump pick, a MAGA Republican Trump pick. She told Dunny Boy no, and he took that pacifier, he threw it out his mouth, and he had a hissy fit. And boom, her house explodes. Come on, y'all. It's time to wake up. There's no more pretending that this is not happening in America when it's happening right in front of our faces. Wake up. Again, this never happened under President Joe Biden, VP Kamala Harris' watch. It is happening under Donald Trump's watch. We never get a day of rest from this MAGA Republican regime. This is happening because we have mobsters in the White House. I don't even care what none of y'all say in this chat. You don't have to agree with me. But what my eyes see and what my ears hear and what I see is going on and how dangerous the MAGA Republican Party is, I could think no different. I could think no different about what is happening in this regime of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, in my opinion, is dangerous. The things he said about our country. He puts the military out to target black and brown people. Wake up, America. From using zip ties on children in Chicago, went to a black apartment building, drugged those people outside, even their children, and zip tied their babies. One of the kids was naked. You cannot tell me you don't see what is going on here. And if it's any white person in my chat and you want to believe this is not of the MAGA regime, then you are racist too. I don't know any other way to put it. This is not just a coincidence. You tell Donald Trump no, boom. You tell Donald Trump no, you in the dirt, baby. This is what's happening on the MAGA Republican Party regime. One moment, please. I'm going to take a sip of water and we're going to continue this. I'm not going to entertain any of those MAGA fools in the chat that have horrible things to say because, honey, you the fool. MAGA, you dumb and uneducated. You the biggest fools I ever encountered in my life. And I've been here 52 years and I've never seen the most dumbest, illiterate, fat, booty-doo people in my life. You're just like your leader, overweight, refuse to pull away from the table, baby. Pull away from that table. King Ralph, thank you for the super chat. I love you, baby, and I miss you. Thank you. Y'all, if you want to sit there and pretend that Donald Trump is not destroying this country, go ahead. You're illiterate. If you want to pretend that all these things are happening under his watch is not real, go ahead. Pretend life is not happening. You're frozen, so be in the movie Frozen, okay? Be in pretend life forever. The fairy tale of Donald J. Trump. While everybody else has waken up. I've been awake. And the real original word that started with black people, stay woke. It does not mean what you silly MAGA Republicans think it means. You take what black people say and try to use it and twist it up and you don't even know how to use it properly. So stop. I got to turn my air conditioner on. Honey, I'm in menopause. One moment. I'll be right back. Dealing with MAGA is like a nightmare that's happening in America. Dealing with MAGA is a nightmare that's happening in America. They're dangerous people. MAGA is a terroristic group, and I don't care what none of y'all say. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those MAGA people felt like Donald Trump is being under attack. Let me go handle this. But I'm going to tell you, before to be a judge, it's not that simple to get to that judge. This was done by somebody on top. This is just not something that's happening. You tell Donald Trump no. What, like that when he was talking to the military sergeants, what did he say to them? I would strip you of your titles. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. And if you don't like what I got to say, Lee, then I'm going to strip you of your titles. He can't strip them of their titles, but he's such a one to be an authoritarian. That's what the MAGA nutcase does. You're not going to be able to convince me anything different about Donald Trump. That man is sick in the head, and y'all know it. But because it benefits the racist white people, you stand in it. Because that's who you are. You will never be anything more, and we ain't looking for you to be anything more because you get less and less every day. Less of a human, less of humanitarian. You don't have a soul. And I saw something, I hope I remember to show y'all, of they talking about Donald Trump, their savior. If you don't get some mental help real soon, you schizophrenic people, if you don't get some help real soon, when it all come tumbling down, when that mountain come tumbling down, it's all rocks and tumbling down on your village, then what you gonna do? Because black and brown people ain't gonna be there for you because you wish harm on us. You celebrating when ICE is attacking black and brown people. What I thank you, Lord Jesus. Well, just recently, honey, in Chicago, ICE got to experience something. Those people stuck together. And they made sure that this man was free from ICE hands. Because he hadn't done nothing wrong. The man kept saying, I'm a U.S. citizen. But does that matter to the MAGA Republican racist nutcases? They don't care. Listen to me, y'all. Those are people that's already under the spell of Donald Trump. They don't care about black and brown people, and black and brown people that's for Donald Trump. You better wake the F up. Stop being Uncle Tom. They don't like you, and they would never like you. Ever in your life would you be liked by the racists that imprisoned, enslaved your ancestors. They would never like you. One moment, please. Just a moment.
Let's talk about your weird obsession with trying to tell Solani people I told you so. So, how does it feel to be wrong? You sat your racist asses on your high horse hoping you'd caught a win, but you didn't. You actually flopped and exposed your hand. Now the Solon people, formerly known as Black Americans, are aware of exactly who laughed and celebrated at a potential deportation. And now the joke is on you, racists. Because not a single Solon person can be or will be deported. So when will you focus your racist attention to your own communities and matters? When will you talk about the pattern of abuse on children, acts committed by non-black men? When will you address the violence of white men? Because the only people who are truly suffering and are in danger at the hands of their own is non-black people. I mean, racists had to have known that the lies and games would eventually catch up to them. To use traumatic events as bait and then an opportunity to spread terror is bitch behavior. And then we have the jealous squad, celebrating and gawking at the idea that the Solons, the original people, would face the very immigration woes they fought to keep. It's a very sick and twisted hatred. To be a tether and so convinced that it's worth the pomp and circumstance to imagine brutalization. But to wish harm on the very people who fight for the world is diabolical self-hate. You are literally working against the most selfless populace per capita. Crime statistics seem to be the only subject that allows for per capita discussions. If you want to talk about per capita stats, then talk about the areas where Solons shine. Pull up your Kirk stool and ask the rest of your Pale Prince army, why is it that white men are the most violent per capita? Why is it that everyone gets to turn a blind eye to their parasitic behaviors, but everyone fixates on Solon people? You can't keep convincing yourself that it's up to Solon people to fix your issues. In fact, it would be pretty genius if they decided to relax, formed their own economy that involves a different exchange mechanism, removed their children from your schools, resigned from their jobs, and doing all of this while armed and ready. You better be careful, people. You're underestimating the power of creation and its creators. And with the way things are going, they will actually be getting the last laugh and telling you, I told you so. All right, racists, let's talk about your weird obsession with trying...
I know y'all celebrating the little things you see that ICE is doing to black and brown people. Some of you celebrated what they did to the people in Chicago. But boy, when the morning comes, it's going to be so sweet to black and brown people. Because your day is coming real soon. Black people, God's chosen ones. And y'all keep effing with us. You gonna see. You gonna see. All we ever did was try to give y'all love, even when you in prison, enslaved our people. But you want to laugh about what happened in Chicago. I've been watching your TikToks. You're sick. The sad part is your savior, he's going to die soon. He will not stay on this earth. He is not Jesus Christ. He will not live forever. Once you hit hell, you're gone. You're burned eternally, baby. And that's exactly where you're going, because you put a man before Christ. You put Donald Trump as your savior. You're the most sickest race ever. You are. And that is not to all white people, because all of them are not MAGA. I'm speaking to MAGA and the dumb black people that follow behind Donald Trump. And yes, some of you Latinas, yeah, some of you. I'm speaking to you too. Wake the F up. You might as well say this is Judgment Day. Wake up. Thank you, Ralph Perry. Thank you. I love you.
Remember when Trump was given presidential immunity by the Supreme Court? Well, essentially what they did was they said you have presidential immunity if what you did while you were president was an official act. See, if you broke the law, but it was an official act while you were president, then you have immunity. But if it's an unofficial act, then your ass don't got no damn immunity. So what they did was they sent the case back to the lower courts and said, y'all have to figure out whether or not what Trump did was official or unofficial. Special counsel Jack Smith said, hold my motherfucking beer. And today resubmitted the new indictments against Donald J. Trump.
Woo! Get him!
And finally put into motherfucking jail. Baby, if you think I'm good at reading, lawyers are the best readers in the motherfucking business. In this indictment that he just rewrote today, Trump is indicted on 4 criminal counts. Count 1, conspiracy to defraud the United States. Count 2, conspiracies to obstruct an official proceeding. Count 3, obstruction of and attempt to obstruct an official proceeding. And count 4, conspiracy against rights. And basically, Donald J. Trump did knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree with co-conspirators known and unknown to the grand jury to injure, oppress, threaten, and intimidate one or more persons in the free exercise and enjoyment of a right and privilege secured to them.
One day when the morning come, it will be over. One day. Oh, it's coming soon. It's coming soon. And I thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I thank him every day. So I'm going to give y'all a read off of some of the things that Donald Trump has done. Donald Trump has done by the numbers. Yeah. So Donald Trump done by the numbers. No wonder you love the poorly educated. Yeah. I'm going to take a sip of water because this is a long list, you guys. This is a long list about Donnie, all the F's up he has and has done. Okay. Donald Trump by the numbers, 7 times flying on the Epstein plane. Donald Trump by the numbers, 97 times pleading the 5th. Donald Trump by the numbers, 34 felony convictions. Yeah. Donald Trump by the numbers, 34 felony convictions, 91 criminal charges. Donald Trump by the numbers, 26 sexual assault allegations. This a nasty old man, huh? Donald Trump by the numbers, 6 bankruptcies, yes. And you say he a great businessman, MAGA, if you only had a brain. Donald Trump by the numbers, 6 bankruptcies, 5 draft deferments. And he want to tell those sergeants, if you don't like what I got to say, then leave Donnie. You had 5 draft deferments. How's those foot spores? Maybe that's why you got cankles, huh? Okay. Donald Trump by the numbers, 4 indictments. Donald Trump by the numbers, a fake university and 1 fake charity. That he could no longer have any charities in New York. Because with his charity, they were taking money, him and his loved ones. Yeah. Crime mob. Donald Trump by the numbers, both shut down, not to mention the $25 million, the $400 million fraud judgment, and $96 million. You lucky there are so many gullible idiots in this world. Are you? No wonder you love the poorly educated. Donald Trump by the numbers. And that's who they look up to. And they look up to Donald Trump as he is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He could never, ever, 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 ever be Jesus Christ. Nothing about him is mighty and powerful as Christ. Nothing about us can compare ourselves. You should never use anybody's image in the light of Jesus Christ. Never. That's what you effed up, MAGA. You will not see heaven. One moment, please. So, I'm going to show you this, then I'm going to read it off to you about Donald Trump. Yes. Him and all his fakeness that he has going on, Donald Trump. So, Trump, fake tan, fake hair, fake height, fake genius, fake bone spores, fake success, fake leader, fake Christian, fake conservative, fake patriot, fake president, fake traitor. You can't even be good at being a traitor, Donnie. Oh, well, Mike Johnson said you was informant for the FBI. Okay. One moment, please. America, this is from Government Newsom, press office. America, do not stay silent in the face of recklessness and authoritarian conduct by the men in the Oval Office of the United States. Speak up. Speak up, America. Hair on my lip. Hold on, y'all. My hair gets on my lip. Speak up. Because if you don't speak up, you fall short. And you are completely under the regime of Donald J. Trump. You have a choice. You don't have to be. Use your voice to win this war that we're in. He said the war is within. The enemy is within. No, Donnie. Hold on. Donald Trump said the enemy is within. No, you are the enemy within our country, and we want you out. And your wife that does not speak good English. Y'all got a problem with Hispanics not speaking good English. But what about Melania Trump, who can't speak English well at all? Bye. You and your family can go. Because you wasn't originally here, honey. Your family migrated here, immigrated here, Donnie. Just like your wife. That should have never been given an Einstein visa. She's not intelligent. She laid on her back and married an old man, double her age, to get to where she is today. And she still can't speak great English. And this is from Shell. Thank you for what you do, sis. Trump is corrupt. Queen, he's completely corrupt. Completely corrupt. And I love you. Thank you for that. Thank you for sending me a super chat. Thank you. We are in a fight for our lives because it's getting worse every day. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't like to play with my people. I tell y'all the truth about anything that I have to talk about. I had to take a break this weekend from Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a poison. And when you talk about him, you have to be careful because it can cause you headaches. It can cause you to feel nauseated because his face makes me sick to look at it. Hearing Donald Trump's voice, I want to vomit. I have to take a break from that illiterate man. I have to take a break from listening to a man that does not love this country. This is our country, and we must take it back. Thank you again, all of you that's sending me super chats. Thank you. Hit that like button. I have 449 of y'all in here. Hit that like button, baby. I love y'all. Hit that like button. Come on. So I got some news about Barron Trump. Yeah. Hold on, Jeffro. Because Donald Trump, don't you call women nasty? Well, I call you nasty Donnie. Yeah, you said women nasty. I call you nasty Donnie. So I guess I'm going to be nasty discussing your son. He's a grown man in school. Is he doing well in school, Donnie? How is Barron doing? Do he got a girlfriend? He got a boyfriend, honey. Tell me, honey. Did he pick up his daddy terrible habits? So this is a article from nationalcircus.com. Barron Trump vanishes as NYU classes begin. So it says Barron Trump at Donald Trump's second inauguration photo. That was a photo. I ain't going to show y'all. Anyway, let me get to the article. 19-year-old Barron Trump, the youngest son of Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, has sparked curiosity and speculation by missing the first week of classes. What's up, Donnie? He can't read like you can't read? At New York University's Greenwich Village campus, Multiple campus security officers reportedly confirmed that Barron has not been seen on the NYU grounds since the fall semester began. Fueling rumors that he is doing a semester at a different NYU location, according to the Daily Beast. The unexpected absence has deepened the mystery surrounding his college experience and public life, raising questions about how the youngest Trump navigates privacy, security, anonymity under these intense spotlight of his family's political prominence. A sophomore year sorted in secrecy. Barron was expected to return to NYU's Stern School of Business for his sophomore year, but according to several campus security officers, he has yet to appear on campus. One officer told people that Barron is attending classes at another NYU campus, but why didn't they let the other NYU campus know? Though officials declined to specify which one. Citing privacy concerns, NYU reportedly operates several degree granting campuses beyond Greenwich Village, including locations in downtown Brooklyn, Abu Dhabi, and Shanghai, as well as academic centers in the city such as Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., where the Trump family currently resides. Well, that's what Donald Trump currently resides. Melania Trump stays in a nice penthouse in New York. She very seldomly go visit Donnie because she want to make sure she's still in the wheel more than likely. I don't blame you, girl. I'll pretend all I have to, too. But the problem is I would have never married him and laid on my back for that man. I couldn't have done it. No. So if you want more of this article, it is on nationalcircus.com. So let's hear what this young lady has to say. Hold on, beautiful people. Hold on. Let me start it over.
MAGA is always saying that single black mothers are raising thugs, but never take accountability for the fact that y'all will have two people in the household and still raise a terrorist. Y'all will say that black people are promoting sex through rap music, but never talk about the fact that white men make up the majority of rape and pedophilia cases. Y'all always want to talk about that, how black people make up 50% of arrests, but never talk about the 50% of exoneration. It's time for MAGA to stop talking about black issues. It's time for MAGA to stop pretending like they actually care about the black community, and instead they need to focus on the white supremacists that they're raising. They need to focus on the fact that they're raising pedophiles and rapists, and they need to figure that out. They need to fight for those people to also receive harsher punishments, because why are we letting pedophiles back out? That's insane. They're more likely to recommit that crime than murderers. So why are we letting them back out? No, I got an idea why. Y'all focus on your issues. We will worry about our community, and you handle that fucking mess. Because all deflection does is make you look weak. It makes you look unwilling and unable to actually take any accountability for what's going on in your community. Because pointing the finger at us does not make you look better. It really doesn't. Honestly, it makes you look worse. Because while y'all are sitting there pointing the finger at us, we're already trying to fix our problems. We're already striving to, make education better for our community, make the living conditions better for our community. And all you're doing is sitting there pointing the finger while you continue to let the people in your community rape children. You're literally letting them just try to blow over an entire sex trafficking ring. And that person was what color again? So again, maybe focus on your community and stop talking about black issues because you don't actually care.
Boom! You don't care. Charlie Kirk used to talk about black issues, and he was a mediocre white boy that they just popped in his neck and red Kool-Aid ketchup came out. And who did it? A mediocre white boy did it. No, he was a white man. Let me correct that, because white people love to say he's a young man. No, young boy. Every time they do something, y'all say a boy. No, he was a man. A mediocre white man popped Charlie Kirk's in the neck, and ketchup came out. Y'all got a problem in the white community. I'm not talking about the good white people. I'm talking about MAGA, okay? Y'all got a problem in your community. But y'all like to talk about the black community. But who is doing all the unaliving today? Your people, even to the senators, your people, to the judge, your people, MAGA Republicans. You need to get GUN control because of your people are dangerous. I never seen a race so dangerous than your people. One moment, please. We're going to talk about some Bad Bunny because I'm enjoying what Bad Bunny got the white folks and they furious, and I love it. I love it. I love it.
And MAGA, Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican. Puerto Rico is part of the United States. Either be racist or stupid. Don't be both. Pick a damn struggle.
They both.
Dumbasses.
Oh, I got to play that again because MAGA don't comprehend. They slow. They rode the short bus. So we're going to play that again.
MAGA, Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican. Puerto Rico is part of the United States. Either be racist or stupid. Don't be both. Pick a damn struggle. Dumbasses.
Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican. And Donnie and MAGA so dumb, they tell me go back to your country. He's a brown person, beautiful brown young man. But Puerto Rico is a part of America. And Donnie talking about he talked to the president of Puerto Rico. No, Donnie, you did not. You are the president, you fool. But I don't like you being the president, but you're the biggest dummy in America. You got brains of a rock. You have no brain. You're the scarecrow. And you also the Tin Man at the same time. Well, damn. One moment, please.
Black students at New York University were directly threatened today, and the university is doing nothing. This is the to NYU, specifically specifying that they are targeting black students and saying that the attack will happen today. Attached to that email was a 4-page manifesto explaining that black people are dead weight and, horrible for society. Another page
black people are under attack.
That would be used. Another page. And the specific reason why NYU black students will be attacked. And this is the absolutely disgusting response email that NYU sent out, not specifying that it was an attack against black students. It says a racist threat, not a hate crime. We're taking the matter seriously.
They don't take black people as important. They look at us less.
There is no conclusion by any law enforcement that the threat is credible. A genuine emergency, or if you detect anything that relates to this threat, XYZ. Basically saying this isn't a real threat. I saw this email first. This was sent out to all NYU students, and I completely disregarded this email because we get campus safety alerts all the time for robbery stuff, things like that, and I didn't realize this was a direct attack against black students because it doesn't say. I later saw email and the manifesto that circulated among many students because it was sent to the NYU admin and they didn't share it with students. But
okay, we don't have time to watch our whole video, but MAGA, why are y'all targeting the young black kids in school? They trying to get their education because education will get you further in life. You don't know about that, do you, MAGA? Very few you got your education. Those are the ones that come from almost decent families. But the hate starts in the household that mom and daddy taught you to hate, didn't they? Hate starts in your household, honey. Your mother and father taught you hate. So we don't expect anything more from you. You're dumb, just like your leader. You're racist, just like your leader. You have hate boiling in your heart, just like your leader. You don't know Jesus Christ. You're a fake Christian, just like your leader.
Black culture is American culture. As an Indian man that was born and raised in America, I'm telling you right now, every aspect of American culture, sports, fashion, art, music, all of it, it's all black culture. Black culture is American culture. This superior race bullshit that's being spewed right now, that's what it is. It's just bullshit. Because if you take away your money, you take away your business, you take away your influence, it all collapses. The American economy will collapse without you. Some of the single most greatest inventions that were created in America were by black people. I'm just tired of this like narrative that like, oh, people are too ghetto. Oh, people are this and people are that. You'd be nothing without them. You'd be nothing without them. And this isn't just for like my black friends. This is like for all minorities. They would be nothing without you. And another thing, stop supporting these corporations that literally disrespect you on a daily basis.
Amen. Black people, pull your dollars back. You already pulled it from Target and Target is crashing. Pull your dollars back. Pull them back. Put them back in your purse. Put them back in your bank account, on your credit card. They don't like you, so don't support them. They're going to crash. Oh, we don't need black people. We built this up. You a lie, and the truth ain't in you. This country was built off the black people, and then the brown people came along, and it's a continuation of greatness. Because you have no greatness. Black and brown people have full greatness. How do you know music? How do you know how to sing gospel music, black people? How do you know R&B, black people? You study our music all the time. How do you know how to rap, black people? Country music come from black people. Rock and roll, black people. Every genre of music there is was created by black people. Because we are the creators. We are the originals of everything. We create everything, and then you steal it and patent it, and wouldn't allow blacks back then to patent anything. So you go around and say your people created when it's not true, baby. When you going to be honest and start telling the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Massive Jeffrey Epstein news. This one is huge. The victims are saying that they are done waiting for the government and they're going to release their own client list. I mean, think about that. Survivors who lived through the abuse are now saying, we know the names, we were there, we were trafficked to them, and we're going to put the truth out ourselves. This has everybody thinking this thing's about to explode. Now, this does come after the DOJ claimed that there was no evidence of a list, which we all thought was odd because there was thousands of documents that were released, but most of them were blacked out, which was useless to all of us. Now, at a rally today on Capitol Hill, survivors stood with lawmakers from both parties saying the establishment is covering up for powerful men. I mean, one victim flat out said Epstein wasn't just a predator, he was an international trafficker, and the people who protected him are still being shielded. I mean, maybe this is what pissed Dan Bongino off so bad. And here's the kicker. These survivors say they'll compile the names confidentially for survivors and by survivors. If that happens, it could blow the lid off everything. So what do you think? Will the truth finally come out, or with the elites here in play, will they find a way to bury this whole thing again? Let me know in the comments. Appreciate it.
Everything that's practically happening right now is to distract from the Epstein files. Those victims are like me. They are fighters. I'm a survivor as well. Let me tell you something about a woman. We're stronger than what y'all think. Those survivors are not going to stop talking about it. Donnie, you going to HELL. Your children going to HELL. That wife is going to HELL. Thank you for the super chat. Cody Locks Production says a nation was built off the backs of everyone. It just black people. Without the founding fathers, this nation wouldn't exist. Honey, the founding fathers for you are nothing but some white men that didn't do any work. They put the slaves to work. You want some honesty? I'm going to give it to you raw, baby, with no Vaseline. I'm not going to make it easy for you. I know you like it with a glove on or fist up your rear, but I'm going to give it to you with no Vaseline. The black people built this country. Your forefathers stood there and guided white people and cared for you. Okay? Honesty is the best thing to survive, honey. Stop believing the hype and the lies, my love. Beloved, goodbye. Thank you. Just a moment, everybody. And I'm going to tell you how sick this MAGA Republican Party is. Take a listen to this. Listen to this about the pedos. They want you to embrace the pedos and stop talking about the pedos. That's the MAGA Republican Party.
And tragically, this pattern keeps on happening. Now, Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rapes? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
Now, how can you stop RAPE when you said stop attacking pedos? Oh, I got to play that again because we got a lot of those in my chat from MAGA. How can you say, let's stop RAPE? And then you come back and say the MAGA Republican Party, Ted Cruz, fat boy. Then you come back and say, stop attacking pedos, pedophiles. That's who we're dealing with. The mediocre fat boy. Hold on, we're going to play it again.
And tragically, this pattern keeps on happening. Now, Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rapes? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles? I want you to look at what happened.
And that is not AI. No, nobody edited that to come out of his paper thin lips. The Cuban man. The one that cosplayed as a white man. One moment, please. How y'all doing out there? Talk to mama. How you doing? We go together real bad. I done told y'all I love y'all. And I know you love me too. Just a moment. So the top prosecutor rebukes Trump, refuses to bring charges against New York Attorney General Letitia James. She did that. All right. There is an awesome God. There's an awesome God. Hear me out. He reigns over Trump, MAGA, Satan, the Antichrist, Donald Trump. When I tell you, I knew that. And see, he had already tried to get somebody to go after Letitia James, and he said no. Letitia James has not done anything wrong. She ain't committed a crime. She ain't like you done it. Those are my last 3 words. But Letitia James is a woman of the law. She did not go get all those degrees. I'm going to tell you about a black woman. She ain't going to get all those degrees to F up and let the white man catch about her neck. No, because we're going to keep our foot across your neck, Donald Trump. Yeah, we're going to keep our foot on your neck so tight. Every time you think about Letitia James, you're going to urinate and poop all in your pissy depends. Uh-oh, it's on mute. One moment.
Major breaking story just a top federal prosecutor in Virginia
hit the like button,
to bring
please.
charges against New York Attorney General Letitia James despite intense pressure from Donald Trump himself. This is new reporting from Carol Lenig and Ken Delanian at MSNBC. Elizabeth Yusi, who oversees major prosecutions in the Eastern District of Virginia, reportedly told colleagues that she sees no probable cause to believe that James committed mortgage fraud, the bogus charge that Trump demanded after she won that $454 million civil fraud case against him. Trump already fired one acting U.S. attorney who would not play ball with his weaponization of the Justice Department. Then he replaced him with Lindsay Halligan, a former Trump defense lawyer with zero prosecutorial experience, who quickly indicted former FBI Director James Comey on manufactured charges that career prosecutors had rejected. Now those same career prosecutors fear that UC will be fired next for refusing to bend to Trump's political retribution. As former DOJ prosecutor Randall Eliason told MSNBC, it is tragic that these lawyers are being forced to choose between honoring their oaths and keeping their jobs. Once again, Trump's DOJ is being turned into a weapon against his enemies, but it's great to see prosecutors standing up to his illegal behavior. Spread the word and listen to the Midas Touch podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify for more. Major breaking story.
When I tell you I thank my Lord and Savior, because I would hate to see a woman that's of greatness and trying to do what she can do for this country. Letitia James is for America. Donald Trump is not for America. Donald Trump is for his pockets and fattening his children's pockets and his billionaire friends. Donald Trump is not for America. No. everything that's happening to America is to destroy America. I thank you, Jesus. So congratulations to the United States for making the human rights watch list. Yeah, we're on the watch list, America, because of Donald Trump. For the first time in 249 years under the leadership of Donald Trump, just in time for his administration to mark the occasion by proposing to break federal law and slap his face on a $250,000 anniversary coin. Nobody wants to see that monstrous face on a coin, Donnie. Nobody. Why do you think you're attractive enough to go on a coin? You're not. You're not even Mike Johnson, and he's not attractive. You below him. Peter Thiel, he's not attractive. You below him. And what's the bald-headed, funny hair guy? Miller, what's his name? You're not even his level. He looked like a head of a DICK. We don't want to see you on a coin, Donnie. Please don't do that. And this right here, I want my black people to really pay attention because there is low IQ. There's low IQ white men, mediocre white men from MAGA. I'm not talking about all white people. No. They think not much of you. They do not think much of you. Brown people, this is for you as well. But definitely black people.
If it never happened, then you would be in a grass hut. Yeah. Right, well, we need reparations. Your reparations are that you get to live in America. You're welcome. You're welcome.
You get to have the Christian religion.
That's
live
right.
better than your ancestors
The greatest
ever
moment.
This is what white people think
for
of black
any
people.
Brown or black country is the moment that the white man's ships arrive on your shore.
Let me tell you about what black people suffered through after those white men's ships arrived on their shores. They got hundreds of years of enslavement, oppression, abuse, torture, murder, rape. Not only did black former slaves get nothing after emancipation, President Andrew Johnson, a white Southerner, he made certain that white enslavers were made whole. Reparations, but not for former slaves, reparations for rich white slave owners. After the Civil War, blacks were kept poor, systematically poor, and with almost zero ability to grow wealth. Thousands of black prisoners were leased by southern states to former white enslavers in what were called convict leases, where blacks, again, worked for free while white men made themselves rich again from their labor and upon their broken backs. There were also sharecropping, which grossly exploited black work ethic while allowing the former enslavers to maintain their power and to continue to grow their wealth, their white wealth. Again, ultimately passing that on to future generations of their white descendants. Of course, during this time, there were also Jim Crow laws in place all over the South, which made it illegal for black Americans to occupy the same spaces as whites. Hospitals and bathrooms, private buildings, elevators, phone booths, restaurants, water fountains, everything that was white, which was everything, was off limits for black Americans. Black Americans. Jim Crow laws also intended to force black people into indentured servitude, to limit their voice in the political system by stripping away their constitutional rights to vote, and to control where they live. It was the American legal system explicitly designed for oppressing them. You know this, though, Joel, right? So tell me, Joel Webben, your goofy little sidekick maybe, or anybody else for that matter, black people should be thankful? Thankful? America wasn't a different nation back then. In so many ways, we are the same country, making the same mistakes, abusing the same peoples, reinforcing those same old traumas.
If slavery never happened, then you would be in a grass hut.
So the MAGA Republicans feel that black people should be grateful they were slaves. Why would you try me? Why would you try me? You don't want to try me. I will cut it off and stick it in your wife's mouth. Why would you try me? This man is doing the Lord's work. What I'm talking about, take a listen. Don Lemon, yeah, he's going to ask a couple questions to this great white guy and listen to what he has to say. Like I said, all white people are not bad people, just the MAGA people, okay? Because we got some beautiful white people in this world. But the ones that are racist, they are rotten to the core, and they will never see the day of heaven.
Sir? Yes. It's me, Don Lemon. Can I ask you some questions, sir? I'm going to a movie. Who's more responsible for the shutdown, Democrats or Republicans? Republicans! They control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Who else would be responsible? Why aren't people upset about, like, out on the street about these ICE agents and National Guard just, like, beating, roughing people up? Here's the thing, Don. You know this is the reality, right? It's an unprecedented thing for most people. They watch on television. I'm not saying they don't believe it's happening, but it doesn't feel very close to them until it comes to their town. And then if it comes to Los Angeles, or it comes to Chicago, or it comes to Portland now, people have a different reaction to it. I think it takes a little bit of time because people are still like a little bit, is this really happening? But it's like secret police to me. I would think Republicans would be more outraged than anyone about the due process of it all, and big government. And we have only seen one instance where Republicans have sounded like what you would think Republicans who care about free speech sound like, which was around Jimmy Kimmel. Don Lemon is a smart motherfucker. Don Lemon is not surprised that Republicans in the world of MAGA have deviated from conservative principle and are acting in many cases like hypocrites, and in other cases like members of a cult. You're not surprised. No, I'm not. Neither one of us surprised to see this. Republicans stopped being conservative a long time ago. This man is doing
the Lord's work.
I love what you do.
That man is doing the Lord's work, honey, because he told the truth about the MAGA Republicans. MAGA, go take a chill pill and start drinking more water so your skin doesn't wrinkle and it will be beautiful like mine at 52. MAGA, go take a chill pill, okay? And get out of there watching that PORN. Go in there with your wife and pretend she's me. So for a huge laugh, I'm going to let y'all listen to this. Hold on just a moment, okay? So you can get your giggle on because, honey, there's not a moment that Trump is right about anything. There's not a moment that he's actually brilliant. There's not a moment that he's not a low IQ man. He's low IQ 24/7.
To Puerto Rico, and I met with the president of the Virgin Islands.
Donnie, you are the rotten president of the Virgin Islands in Puerto Rico. Do y'all want to hear that again? Because he's so dumb. He's dumb.
To Puerto Rico, and I met with the president of the Virgin Islands.
Donnie, Orange Man, you are the president of the Virgin Islands in Puerto Rico. And that's who they worship. We worship Jesus Christ in my household. Donnie would never get worshipped by me. Why would I want to worship somebody that use the bathroom on themselves? Honey, President Joe Biden is older than Donald Trump, and he don't use the bathroom on himself. And look at his body. Compared to two, Donnie is a fat Michelin blimp. That's what he is. He's a clown 24/7. So government, he says himself about ICE. ICE, Trump's regime are only going after black and brown people. Take a listen. I keep telling y'all that. ICE is racist against black and brown people. Yes, you are. You are. Take a listen. The government gonna say it. The government of Chicago.
Going after the bad guys, they're just picking up people who are brown and black and then checking their credentials. Are you a U.S. citizen? I don't know about you, but I don't carry around papers that say I'm a U.S. citizen. So you can imagine people are getting detained, they're getting arrested, U.S. citizens. And they did this, of course, when they raided a building in the middle of the night in South Shore. 130 people that were emptied out of this building. They were going after a few gang members, and instead they broke windows, they broke down doors, they ransacked the place, and there were people that were held, elderly people and children zip-tied. Elderly people held for 3 hours at a time. They are the ones that are making it a war zone. They need to get out of Chicago if they're not going to focus on the worst of the worst, which is what the president said they were going to do.
Donald Trump is the worst of the worst.
Instead of going after the bad guys, they're just picking up people who are brown and black and then checking.
What I tell y'all, What I tell y'all, they're only targeting black and brown people. They so jealous of our beautiful skin. We don't age. We don't age, y'all. Look at me, 52. My skin look just as good as a 29-year-old black girl. Yeah. Donnie, you going to hell, boy. So I'm going to show y'all something. And this is talking about the grocery prices. Grocery prices are up almost 30% within 5 years. This is the highest it has ever been. Prices spiked again after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. 29% since February 2020. Prices spiked during the beginning of the pandemic. So the highest, though, is right now, 30% under Donald Trump. This is the chart. And it says Donald Trump's erratic tariffs and other policies are disrupting nearly every aspect of the U.S. economy. Yes, it is. And I'm going to show you a photo they showed of Donnie Boy. And this is when he was pimp style and making fun of you, okay? Insulting your intelligence. Do y'all recall this photo? That man has never been in the grocery store. But he stood there and he insulted your intelligence. But the thing is, y'all MAGA don't know when their intelligence are being insulted. They don't know. They're illiterate. He said he liked the non-educated. This what happened? The explosion of the judge house? The one that told Donald Trump no? And he had a hissy fit? This has MAGA written all over it. Under the Donald Trump regime, senators unalivings, blowing up homes because of the judge abides by the Constitution. The White House is being ran by a delusional, fat, funky mob boss. These actions never happened under President Obama, nor under President Joe Biden. Crime mob is in the White House. America must impeach the rotten orange immediately. As soon as he's told no, they're all boom. Come on, America. You know what time it is. This is just not a coincidence what happened. Hold on.
It's already begun. You can hear the thing burning. That's not an accident. So
she told Donald Trump no, and look what happened.
South Carolina Judge Diane Goodstein. Unfortunately, some of her family members were home.
Hit that like button for me. Get me to 100 likes.
I believe the husband is in the ICU, and the grandkids had some broken bones from jumping out of the windows. It is being reported that an explosion might have been the cause of this. So that's all it's saying. I'm not using any other words except
quite strange. Every time somebody tells Donnie no, or you talk about the Epstein files. Charlie Kirk talked about the Epstein files.
Further than Stephen Miller saying there is a large and growing movement of left-wing terrorism.
Oh, they always blame the Democrats.
And funded, and it is shielded by far-left Democrat judges, prosecutors, and
but it always be a MAGA white man.
Is to use legitimate state power to dismantle terrorism and terror networks. Knowing how crazy.
Let me tell you something, Stephen Miller. Stop running your D suckers, because you good at rocking the mic. You good at rocking the mic, right? Because your head look like a D-I-C-K head? For real? You love to run out there and say the left when it's always, and it comes out to be a MAGA white mediocre man. The senators that were unalive and the senators that were under attack and they survived the situation. It was a MAGA white mediocre man. Charlie Kirk, a white MAGA mediocre man. Everything that's been happening has been nothing but the white MAGA mediocre men doing it. From pedophiles, the pedos recently. All these cases of mediocre white men. Trafficking, mediocre white men. Y'all of a nation that are sick. You're sick. This is not the works of the Dems. So shut your mouth. Stephen Miller. You think people supposed to be scared of you. Nobody's scared of you. I'm a woman, a black woman, and I'm not scared of you. You don't scare me. So stop lying on the left when it's the white, mediocre, MAGA Republican men that's doing the crimes in this country. But y'all love to sick ice after black and brown people that are not committing the crimes. Your people committing the crimes. Do you beg to differ? You better not, because look at Charlie Kurtz in the ground. People, use your voices, fight back. So the government shutdown. This is from Thomas Macy, what he has to say about this government shutdown. And I agree 100% with him. He is the one that has brought up the thing for the survivors to have the Epstein files released. And he is a Republican. That's a good man. Donald Trump, not a good man. Stephen Miller, not a good man. Magic Mike, who rocked the mic right, Grinder, not a good man. The entire MAGA Republican Party are bad people. So this is what Thomas Macy, I gotta say. He says the government is shut down, but the House refuses to go back in session. Why are we in session, in recess? Because the day we go back into session, he says, I have 218 votes for the discharge position to force a vote on the releasing of the Epstein files. And Donald Trump and his goonies, from Mike Johnson, Grinder, are trying to stop the release of the Epstein files. So Massey is going to stick to it, and he knows he got his vote. Although the Satanist people, Mike Johnson, Donald Trump, fake Christians, all of the MAGA Republican Party are trying to stop the vote to release the Epstein files. They will be released because I rebuke all of the MAGA Republican Party to the highest level. Trump is exposed. So let's see what this is about. Trump Epstein cover-up exposed. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. How y'all doing out there? You doing okay?
Congressman is blowing the whistle, publicly exposing a new insidious development in his own party's
hit that like button
of the Epstein files, specifically by Donald Trump.
Thank you.
Speaker,
give me to 100 likes, y'all.
But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, folks, this is stunning stuff. And this is coming from Republican Congressman Thomas Massey, who has been leading the charge in the Republican Party for the public release of the Epstein files, okay? So he says the government is in shutdown, but the House refuses to go back in session. Why are we in recess? Because the day we go back into session, I have 218 votes for the discharge petition to force a vote on releasing the Epstein files. Speaker Johnson doesn't want that to be the news. But I want to stop right here for just a second. Here's what he's saying. Look, this government shutdown doesn't necessarily prevent the House of Representatives from being in session to conduct business. But Mike Johnson quickly put the House out of session as the government shutdown was looming near in order to prevent Thomas Massey from forcing a vote on the release of the Epstein files. And then Mike Johnson continues to delay when the House will return to session because he doesn't want the Epstein files to be released. So he ended it early and he's delaying the return to prevent this vote. Specifically,
which is illegal,
refusing to bring the House back into session in order to swear in a newly elected member of Congress, that 218th signature that Massey is talking about. We'll get to that in a second. But this is a hell of an indictment.
Hi, Pierre Bradshaw. Hi, King.
So he's reminding people, he's like, listen, to people who are complaining, I have the receipts for myself and the current administration during the Biden years. The difference is my position hasn't changed, right? So he's talking about, Don Jr. and Republicans during President Biden's administration were all talking about the release of the Epstein files, even though Biden and the Democrats never campaigned on releasing the Epstein files. Thomas Massey was consistent during the Biden years. But after Trump got back into power, the MAGA politicians and MAGA players who demanded the release of the Epstein files did a 180 as soon as it became politically inconvenient for Trump. Massey goes on to say, Get your congressman to sign the discharge petition and quit being a confused dolt. You should be confused why the VP, Attorney General, Director of the FBI, etc., changed their positions, not why I doubled my efforts when I realized everyone else was lying and saw a political solution.
Hello,
So
Cav Dog.
calling out people who are like, you're not being consistent. No, I'm not, asshole. I've been perfectly consistent. These MAGA politicians,
doing,
Donald
King?
Trump, they have not been consistent. Okay, so your issue should be with them, not with me. It's a really good point. So, again, this call out by Thomas Massie is incredibly important. It's being echoed by Democratic congresspeople as well, like Jamie Raskin, my favorite Democratic congressperson, who's calling out Mike Johnson for this delay because they've identified what the reason really is.
Year started, and it also is not lost on anyone that shutting the government down allows them not to swear in our new colleague, Ms. Grijalva from Arizona, who would be the 218th signature to discharge the Epstein files and to put a
Thank
vote on
you,
that on the
Nicole,
House floor. So it's
the
convenient
heiress.
for them to
Thank
shut
you,
the government
Queen.
down, and they're
You're
not
right.
interested in making government work for our constituents.
Great point. It's 100% a great point. And he's echoing what Thomas Massie has been explaining, which is that this really is just about, as far as Mike Johnson is concerned, this is about forcing or not allowing the Epstein files to be released. Now, Johnson was confronted about this yesterday during an interview on
And he can't
Press,
keep his
and
lies
he
together.
denied it. Of course, not very persuasively. Take a look.
There is, Speaker, still critical work, though. And as you know, many Democrats have looked at your move. They say the House is not in session because you don't want to swear in this newly elected senator, the Democratic Congresswoman from Arizona, who would be a critical vote to releasing the Epstein files. How do you respond
It's
to
totally
that
absurd.
charge?
This has nothing to do with that. It's another red herring. The reason the government is closed is because Chuck Schumer and 43 of his Democrat colleagues in the Senate have decided now to vote multiple times to keep the government closed.
But before you took the House out of session, as we discussed in a previous video, you had the time to swear this person in, or to even do a pro forma session where you could swear her in, as Republicans have been sworn in by Mike Johnson in recent months.
Yeah.
So he's breaking his own rule, his own precedent, and bending the rules and changing the timetable in order to avoid doing what he has done time and time again for Republicans, precisely because of what Thomas Massie is exposing, that this would force the release of the Epstein files. And Mike Johnson is trying to cover for Donald Trump. And who the hell knows who Donald Trump is covering for? His friends, himself, both?
Himself
But
and
this
friends.
is the newly elected Democratic Congresswoman in question who's swearing in, who's being seated, is being delayed by Mike Johnson. And she also agrees. She's pretty sure this has to do with the fact that she would be the 218th vote to release the Epstein files.
When you are sworn in, do you intend to sign the discharge petition that would force a vote on the release of the Epstein files?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So I would be 218. And that seems to, I mean, at first I was trying not
Thank
to
you.
be
I'm going to read it in one moment,
I
okay?
also have been the same. Like, maybe there's something I'm missing here.
Right. It doesn't have anything to do with these files, but that is literally the only thing I can point to. It's not like me getting sworn in is going to change, now the Democrats will be in the majority. I mean, there are certain things that are not going to change, where Democrats will still be in the minority. That is literally the only thing that is different in, me getting sworn in versus Representative Walkinshaw or Petronas or Fine. They were literally sworn in.
They do not want to sworn her in because then they have enough votes to release the Epstein files. Oh no, then that means Donnie's entire sinful, gross, ugly ways will be revealed. He is in the Epstein files. Although Kash Patel, under the advice of Bundy, had 1,000 FBI agents to redact Donald Trump out of the Epstein files. It took 1,000 FBI agents, y'all. That means there was a lot that Donald Trump did. A lot that Donald Trump did. Donald Trump is a horrible man. He should not be sitting in that Oval Office. I want to say thank you to G Money the Don. Thank you, my love. Thank you so much for sending me a super chat. Thank you. I appreciate you. And I love you. I love all of y'all. We go together real bad and you know it. Thank you. So, as we all know that we know the truth, y'all, whether we ever get those Epstein files or not. But we need them because Donnie needs to go. That ho in the Merry Christmas, his wife, the ho in the Merry Christmas, need to go. Bad representation of this country. President Barack Obama was great representation. A great family. Highly educated, high IQ, black people. And they want to make it seem like black people are only DEI, baby. No. Pete Hegseth, DEI. Cash Patel, DEI. Pam Bundy, DEI. Donald Trump, DEI. All day long, 24/7, baby.
Christians, yeah, you don't follow Jesus, and you can't. You follow someone's version of Jesus. Here are the facts. Jesus never wrote anything down. We have no direct words from him, only stories written decades later by people who never met him. The earliest gospel, Mark, was written around 40 years after his supposed life, based on oral traditions that change over time and are shaped by the biases of storytellers. The authors of the Gospels are completely anonymous.
Hit the like button, everybody.
Mark, Luke, and John were attached later by church tradition. Then, centuries after that, councils of men decided which books would be even in your Bible and which books they would call heresy. This means that every single verse that you read is passed down through the filter of human decision-making. And today, there are over 45,000 Christian denominations, each with different ideas of who Jesus is and what he meant. Which one is right? You can't know. So no, you don't follow Jesus. You follow an interpretation that was built, edited, debated, and sold by human beings for the last 2,000 years. Hey, Christians.
And it was handed over to slaves to control slaves. But the original Bible is from Africa. But he's right. And it was handed over to slaves to manipulate. But it's best that you take that Bible and you apply it to your life how it needs to be to make you a better person and a servant unto God and a servant to people. But that Bible has been changed up so many times by the mediocre white man.
Colonizers who came to America said they were Christians. The KKK said they were Christians. There have been mass shooters whose profile said they were Christians.
Amen.
There were insurrectionists on January 6th who flew Christian paraphernalia. They claimed to be Christians. There were, check this out.
Come on, get me to 100 likes, please.
Who claimed to be Christian. And what I want to say is I can no longer, as a pastor, as a human, and as someone who's given their life to the way of Jesus, I can no longer stand by as Christianity gets hijacked by a particular agenda that is not the way of Jesus. I cannot stand by as a Christian and watch Christ's name get hijacked to further justify hate, racism, bigotry, misogyny, and white supremacy. I believe the path of Jesus is the path of generosity, nonviolence, caring for the poor, the vulnerable, the oppressed, and the marginalized. Colonizers who came to America said
well, honey, what he just said, Donald Trump don't abide by any of that. That's why I said Donald Trump is not a Christian. He played on your top, America. Your top is very small. Your IQ is very low. So he played on your top. And he continued to tap dance in your mind. He owned your soul. When Jesus Christ is supposed to own your soul. The big fat rotten orange owns you. This is America, only attacking black and brown people, the ones who were here before the Europeans.
This is how you defeat fascism, by standing in community with your neighbors. Watch.
Pay attention, I love this. Teamwork makes the dream work, people. Fight back. Teamwork makes the dream work. Fight back, America. Brown people were here before the Europeans.
Let him go.
This is how you defeat fascism, by standing in community with your neighbors. Watch.
Standing in community. It matters. Your life matters. Our life matters. That brown man's life matters. We don't know what could have happened to him when they would have hauled him off, because a lot of people are becoming missing. Women are being actually abused by them. Children are missing. That's community. So, Supreme Court rejects Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal. And you will hear from Aaron Parners. Everything I show you and have shown you is fair use, great for education purposes, great research, and great entertainment. And I throw a little comedy in there for you, baby. I love y'all. One moment, please.
We have bombshell news right now. Minutes ago, the United States Supreme Court declined to hear Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal of her sex trafficking conviction.
That puts the heat on Donald Trump even more, y'all.
This was one of the most closely watched petitions of this Supreme Court term, because Ghislaine Maxwell argued that a non-prosecution agreement between Florida prosecutors and Jeffrey Epstein prevented her criminal prosecution in the Southern District of New York. If you recall, Jeffrey Epstein was first arrested for sex trafficking related charges. After he died in prison, prosecutors under the Trump administration actually then went and arrested Ghislaine Maxwell at her ranch in New Hampshire. She was then tried and convicted.
Hit the like button, please. Thank you.
On sex trafficking related charges of multiple women. And her primary argument leading up to that criminal trial was that a non-prosecution agreement entered into between Jeffrey Epstein and Florida prosecutors prevented her criminal prosecution in New York. She argued essentially that the agreement between Epstein and Florida prosecutors would bar her criminal prosecution anywhere, including in the Southern District of New York. And well, a Second Circuit Court of Appeals rejected her argument, and now the United States Supreme Court completely denied even hearing her argument on the merits. When the Supreme Court considers cases, it's not automatic. Remember, tens of thousands of cases every year go up in front of the United States Supreme Court. The Supreme Court only actually agrees to ever hear about maybe 100, 120 if they're lucky each term. It's a very small amount. And they only hear cases involving, for example, circuit splits, when one circuit disagrees with another circuit. They hear cases of novel issues of law. And actually, many legal experts thought that Ghislaine Maxwell had a somewhat of a decent shot at getting Supreme Court review here, because it is a novel issue whether this non-prosecution agreement in Florida would bar her criminal prosecution in New York. And when the Supreme Court considers cases, it's called a petition for writ of certiorari. The Supreme Court then needs 4 justices on the court to agree to hear the case. If 4 justices agree out of the 9, then they'll put it on the docket where they'll discuss the merits of the case. You'll have more briefing. There'll be oral argument in front of the justices, as you hear often, starting this month. Well, here, this morning's orders came out, and United States of America versus Ghislaine Maxwell was on it. That case was decided not to be heard, meaning that 4 justices on the Supreme Court agreed or did not agree to hear the case. And so it'll never even get to the merits stage. They'll never even discuss whether the merits of the case are sufficient to overturn her conviction. A lot of people were nervous. A lot of people were scared that this could lead to Maxwell walking free from the FPC Bryan facility in Texas. But this isn't the end for Maxwell, because many were reporting that the Justice Department was reviewing what this United States Supreme Court was going to do. Mind you, The Trump Justice Department actually said the Supreme Court should not review her conviction, so they were against Maxwell here. But the Justice Department and the Trump administration were likely waiting to see what the Supreme Court did before deciding how to move forward on whether or not to commute Maxwell's sentence, to pardon her, or to seek any sort of relief for her, because she had been cooperating with the Trump administration, met with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, etc. And it comes at a very difficult time for this administration. So now the Trump administration may soon decide, well, we may pardon Maxwell, we may commute her sentence, or now they may say, you know what, we have all the leverage in this case now, because Maxwell is facing the possibility of serving likely the rest of her life in this prison facility if she does not receive some type of commutation or pardon. And so the next steps here are the Trump administration will review whether or not she would get a pardon. But even setting that aside, it comes at a critical moment for the Epstein files discussion. Because right now on Capitol Hill, there are 217 signatures to release the Epstein files, or to force a vote to release the Epstein files. They need 218 signatures. Adelita Grijalva, the Congresswoman-elect from Arizona's 7th Congressional District, would be signatory number 218. And well, Mike Johnson and House Republicans do not want to swear her in because they don't want to give the votes to the Republicans and Democrats. It's a bipartisan discharge petition to release the Epstein files. So here's where we're at. We're in the middle of a government shutdown. The Supreme Court still works during a government shutdown. They're essential employees. They're still going to hear cases. They're still, not the entire federal judiciary, but the Supreme Court will. Remember, the rest of the federal judiciary could theoretically shut down as soon as October 17th because it'll run out of funding, which will cause mass chaos across the judicial branch. But anyways, the Supreme Court will continue to hear cases. And it's rejected the Maxwell appeal. Now, there's more pressure on Congress to force the release of the Epstein files.
We're not going to watch the whole video. Be sure to subscribe to Aaron Corners. He is like a great creator on YouTube. He's on TikTok as well. So please follow him on TikTok. Follow him on Instagram. He's an amazing content creator, and I watch him faithfully. Everything that I show you, as I stated, and have shown you on this channel is fair use, great for educational purpose, great research purposes, great entertainment. We are doing research, baby. Amen. So MAGA is full of child predators and unalivers. Hold on. Oh, I can't play music. Let me read it to you. I was going to play the video, but it has music to it. Hold on. So a pastor, a Texas worship pastor, John Paul Steptop, has gotten arrested for possession and production of child sexual abuse images. MAGA. Woo! Ooh, get him, Jesus. Another child sexual predator busted. Are any Republican men close to Trump not actual predators? I truly believe, in my opinion, that all the MAGA Republican men are actual predators. Their leader, the man in Oval Office, is one. Whew, it's getting bad out here, y'all. So, breaking. Stephen Miller's cousin, who used to be a babysitter, who babysit him, goes mega viral, with a brutal takedown of the fastest Trump advisor. Okay? So let's take a listen to this, okay? Uh-oh, on mute.
Stephen Miller's own cousin has disowned him, calling him the face of evil. Take a look at this post. She posted several different pictures of her and him together when they were younger with this caption. Many of you know who my cousin is. Being public about it is something I've struggled with. I live with real fear about what posting something this raw might bring. I am living with the deep pain of watching someone I once loved become the face of evil, but I know that staying silent only deepens the ache. She then says Stephen Miller growing up was very lovable and harmless.
Hit that like button, please.
But I was so deeply wrong. And the realization that I didn't know you at all, it
if you haven't hit the like button, please.
And I grieve what I've lost because of it. I grieve your children I will never meet. I grieve the future family you've stolen from me by choosing a path so filled with cruelty that I cannot and will not be a part of it. I will never knowingly let evil into my life, no matter whose blood it carries, including my own. This is the craziest part. We all know Stephen Miller is pushing 1930s Germany-style propaganda, but the thing is, they were raised Jewish. She says, we carry the trauma of generations who were hunted, hated, expelled, unalived just for existing. We were taught to remember. She asks, how can you do to others what has been done to us? How can you wake up each and every day repeating the cruelty that our people barely escaped from? Her words remind us that what is happening right now in the United States is not normal. ICE is terrorizing communities. Entire families, many of which are legal and U.S.-born citizens, are living in fear. These are not policies. These are major human rights violations. Stephen Miller's own cousin has disowned him, calling him the face of...
Yep. Stephen Miller, see, you run them D-suckers. People coming out here telling everything now. See, you used to just stay quiet and let Trump be the, you was a tranquilicus to Trump. But now, you don't put yourself out there, so everybody gonna dig up all your dirt, boy. Yeah. Oh, you on that grinder out. Inquiring minds want to know. Hold on, please.
But we keep getting really big breaking news updates like this. Donald Trump is now planning on sending 400 Texas National Guard troops into various cities across the country as he expands his invasion. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker just posted the following. This evening, President Trump is ordering 400 members of the Texas National Guard for deployments to Illinois, Oregon, and other locations within the United States. No officials from the federal government called me directly to discuss or coordinate. We must now start calling this what it is, Trump's invasion. It started with federal agents. It will soon include deploying federalized members of the Illinois National Guard against our wishes, and it will now involve sending in another state's military troops. I call on Governor Abbott to immediately withdraw any support for this decision and refuse to coordinate. There is no reason a president should send military troops into a sovereign state without their knowledge, consent, or cooperation. The brave men and women who serve in our National Guards must not be used as political props. This is a moment where every American must speak up and help stop this madness. And madness this is. We have to be clear about what's going on, and J.B. Pritzker is right. This is an invasion. Donald Trump has essentially declared war against democratic cities in the United States. He even brought it up directly to the United States military the other day during that speech with Pete Hegseth. And the language that he is using and Stephen Miller is using is clear incitement against the rule of law, incitement against judges who tell them no, incitement against anybody who is trying to get in their way of their authoritarian agenda. We're going to keep covering this, and we'll let you know how it plays out. Make sure you're following our account and listen to the Midas Touch podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify for more. It's getting late, but we keep getting really big breaking.
Donald Trump, again, is the enemy within. America, we are not the enemies, because he can't win a war and claim he won 7 wars. But everybody know the truth. All the other country leaders know the truth. So what does he do? He started a war within his own country against the American people. How low can you go? But it doesn't surprise me. He's a mediocre white man that's low IQ.
We have some horrific news coming out of Alabama, where there's been yet another mass shooting in America. Overnight at the Alabama National Fair, 12 people were injured and 2 people were killed in a mass shooting where authorities literally, and witnesses describe, of 2 people literally shooting at each other in the middle of the crowd. And to make matters worse, out of the 12 injured, 3 of them have life-threatening injuries, so that death toll at 2 can potentially go up to 5 or even more. We have more mass shootings than days in the year, and unfortunately, it doesn't make primetime news every single time there's a mass shooting because it's become so normalized in American society. But folks, it's up to the media to say this isn't normal. It's not normal to have 2 people dead, 12 injured in the middle of a fair in Montgomery, Alabama. That is not normal, no matter what the motive is behind the shooting. Spread the word. As always, I'll provide you more updates on my
subscribe to Aaron Partners. Again, we need GUN control. Let Donald Trump telling the MAGA Republicans, we ain't giving up our GUNs. They're not trying to take them from you legal people. If you're legal. Is MAGA legal? MAGA's a bunch of nutcases. They don't need GUNs. They don't need them. G-U-N-S. You don't need them. You're mentally ill, in my opinion. Anybody that worship a man instead of Jesus Christ, something is wrong with you. So breaking news, Marjorie Taylor Greene warns she's in danger. One moment, please.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is on the internet saying that her life is in danger, and she's letting us know that if anything were to happen to her, it's because someone did it to her. And this is because that she is supporting the release of the Epstein files. And the Epstein files are going to get released, but Mike Johnson is doing everything in his power to try to slow it down and stop it. And this is an issue that is continuing to this day. But before we get to that, if you could please hit like on this video, it helps more people see it. And if you're not subscribed, please consider
subscribe to Keith Edwards. Watch some of his videos and hit like.
These very smart protesters actually put up a best friend statue of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. And as if you see here, they actually, when they first went up, they completely destroyed it. And the protesters who put this statue up in Washington, D.C. actually fixed it. If you see here, there you can see the lines on where they had to put it back. And it is back up in Washington, D.C. What's so funny is this bothers Donald Trump because he had his federal government goons take it down. And like I said, Mike Johnson understands that this is an issue that hurts him. And Republicans are actually postponing the swearing in of the newest Democrat elected to Congress. Her day one promise was to be the tie-breaking vote to release the Epstein files. And now, what has Mike Johnson done? They've actually designated the period between October 7th and October 13th as a district work period. What's a district work period? Well, really what that means is they're not going to be here in D.C. voting on any legislation. This is, by the way, at the time when the government is shut down. So they could be here trying to figure that out, but instead, Mike Johnson said, why don't you go back to your district? Now, that's technically not a vacation, but it is up to the member of Congress whether or not they have in-person town halls, whether they have meetings with constituents, or whether they just decide to do what Marjorie Taylor Greene did, which is go on TV. But as Midas Touch said here, it must be nice for Mike Johnson to be able to give himself a paid vacation right now. Wouldn't that be nice to just be able to decide when you don't have to go into work? That would be nice. They are really trying to avoid this, but it's happening. And this is why Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that if something happens to her, she's not suicidal. I'm going to tell you more about that in just a moment. But here is a really interesting bit. On October 8th, in 4 days, Reps Ro Khanna, Progressive, Thomas Massie, far-right conservative, Marjorie Taylor Greene, MAGA conservative, all are going to be holding a press conference joined by survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse to discuss the discharge petition that has the votes if Speaker Mike Johnson will actually allow the vote to happen. And they're trying to force a vote on the Khanna and Massie bill. It's called the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is warning folks that she's not suicidal. She said here, this is a couple weeks ago, she said, to be clear, to set the record straight on my support of the Massie Epstein discharge petition that they're going to have a protest about in a few days, I stand with the girls and women who are sexually abused and raped, period, every time, at all times. And then it really just kept going. Do you remember when tweets were 140 characters? This is so long. It's so long. Who's going to read all that? Regardless, Marjorie Taylor Greene made a shorter tweet where she warned that she's not suicidal. I'm going to tell you why that's important in just a moment. She says here, I am not suicidal. I'm one of the happiest, healthiest people you will meet. I have full faith in God and Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. As a sinner, I am only saved through his grace and mercy. With that said, if something happens to me, I ask you all to find out which foreign government or powerful people would take heinous actions to stop the information from coming out. Now, this is regards to the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Not only about this issue, but because of the truth that I have been speaking. The people understand what I'm saying. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that for a very specific reason. Now, I am not a conspiracy theorist, but I have to tell you, these are just some of the people connected to Epstein who had very suspicious death. Jean-Luc Bruin, who worked with Epstein, committed suicide. Stephen Hoffenberg, he was Epstein's mentor, found dead. Mark Middleton, he was a Clinton aide, died by suicide. Val Broxman, Deutsche Bank whistleblower whose material fed reporting on Deutsche Bank clients on Epstein and Trump. And guess what? Death ruled accidental. And of course, Virginia Giuffre, who was found dead by suicide, and the biggest one of all, Epstein, died by suicide. So that is a lot of very unusual circumstances surrounding the death of the people.
A lot of unusual circumstances. It is. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I understand completely what she's saying. Donald Trump feels that Marjorie is stabbing him in the back. No, Marjorie is stepping up, doing what's right for this country and for the survivors. At first, I didn't believe her. I didn't trust her, and I still do not trust Marjorie Taylor Greene. But I have to say, I appreciate what she's doing for the survivors. Their voices need to be completely heard, not drowned out by planes, military planes in the air while they're speaking. Because that's what Donald Trump did when the survivors was on the White House lawn giving their testimony of what has happened to them. And yes, I think one or two of them mentioned Donald Trump. So we need the Epstein files released. And we need to know who blew up the judge in South Carolina's home and harmed her family. We need to know. And we're not going to take our foot off your neck, Donnie. The neck that look like a bussy, we're not taking our foot off of it. Choke on your lies. I want to thank y'all for coming to my live. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I want to thank all of our people that donated to my channel today. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Also, I want to thank each and every last one of y'all in my chat. Thank you for coming to my live. I love you. God loves you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great meal. Get plenty of sleep. And what else? What did I tell y'all? Drink plenty of water. It's imperative. Drink your water. Y'all have a good night. I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.